Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Apex Racing TV, and welcome to one of the circuits that has become renowned around the world, being known as the Green Hell. It is the Nürburgring. We may not be racing on the Nordschleife tonight, but we're racing on the not so tough Grand Prix circuit today. But the drivers will be put through their paces in what will be another enthralling 60-minute race. We started the season out at Silverstone before heading to Daytona. Then we went to Monza, Zolder in Belgium before heading down under to Bathurst. Then two races in the States, the Glen and at Sebring, before we head to round 8 here at the Nürburgring. Joining me in the commentary box tonight alongside me, Adam Bath, for this 60-minute endurance race, it is Marco Barbanera. Marco, welcome. Obviously, week 13, that's a time where people can take a bit of a break from the world of the official series, but not for this series. The Simracersworld GT series carries on, and we've come to the Nürburgring for what should be another great race.
Yeah, hello everyone, hello Adam, absolutely, and of course these guys being really brave to schedule a race in week 13 because we know that trouble is just around the corner, but luckily the emergency maintenance for the regular maintenance for the patch week 13 is tomorrow for the first hotfix, so tonight we are all ready to go, and it promises to be a good one. There have been a couple of races in the IMSA series this week here at the Nürburgring, so I think these drivers have had the chance to practice, and you are right, one of those tracks that really, made it possible for racing to still be held in this particular part of Germany, and it's this location in particular because this is a completely different track from the Nordschleife, created in the 80s because it's still one of the historic locations for motorsport around Europe, and of course location of the Sim Racing Expo every year basically, and so very much beloved by iRacers all over Europe and the rest of the world. Qualifying is underway, by the way, so before we go into qualifying, I think we can go, Adam, to the championship standings.
We can. Yeah, we'll get into the history of this track, but no doubt during the evening. Championship standings up on your screen then, and it is a fantastic lead for EF van Genechten. He has got a 125-point cushion over Gregory Vranks in second. And the qualifying standings, anything to go by at the moment, he could very well extend that tonight. Danny McCauley sits in third. Silver driver in all but name, really. Oh, sorry, gold driver in all but name. He's a class driver as things stand, but he's a silver driver as things stand, but he could be moved up to the gold class potentially next season. Matthias Dertige is in fourth position. He is about 40 or so points behind. Then Kobe Claes in fifth. Javier Rodriguez sixth. Bob Boland 7th, 8th is Andrew Hopley, 12 points behind him there. And then Stein Van Buel in 9th, and Ruben Van Buel rounding out the top 10 with Chris Moretta, Arturo Alvarez, Steve Klaas, Ian Roots, Peter Grauls, Roy Ververke, Nick Shermans, and Sebastian Heberer rounding out the top 18 in the points going into this one. And that is with the gold, the silver, and the bronze drivers combined. He isn't on that graphic there, but the top driver in the bronze is Brian Van Alphen, and he leads Pedro Braganza by 60 or so points in the bronze class. So that's you up to date there as the qualifying session is underway. We've just about got half of the session still to go. The gold drivers on the track map, you can see them highlighted in gold. The silver drivers are there too, and you can see the bronze drivers are circulating as well. And first thing we can see here, Marco, is that we're using the endurance chicane for this one, so it almost eliminates a potential overtaking possibility on the circuit, really, because it's just so much quicker.
Exactly. As a driver, I prefer this chicane here, but for for overtaking, it's. I think the Formula 1 chicane is a bit better, but this is the layout that has also been used in the IMSA official series this week, so I think they wanted to keep last week, of course, because it's week 13. I already said this week a couple of times, it's last week, of course, but yeah, so let's say that premium importance will have the first corner, not only in the first lap, of course, but also going ahead in the subsequent laps, because that might be, with this version of the track, the only proper passing opportunity. And also I would say this corner here, which I never know if it's turn 6 or turn 8, but the big hairpin, even though here you need a little bit of luck and a lot of bravery if you want to pull a move here, because the surface is slightly banked on the outside, but then it becomes, if you are side by side with an opponent and you go side by side with the Schumacher S, it's usually a recipe for disaster. So I'd say that it's not a track known for overtakes, but if we want to see them, I think it will be in the first corner tonight.
Yeah, the arena section really is, since it became part of the Nürburgring in 2002, has really helped create some overtaking. Before that, it was just a quick S-bend, and there wasn't too much possibility for overtaking there because it was just so quick. I believe the two Schumacher brothers collided there in 97. Looking here at Matthias Detti, she's just come across the line now and done an invalidated lap, it looks like. He remains in 8th place, the gold driver, driving for Simracersworld. You can see there by the livery, quite well known. Currently on pole position is Ian van Genexen. We were just talking about him when we were looking at the points. But here is the highest silver driver, it's Danny McCauley. And here is Arturo Alvarez. He's just come across the line in the VRO car now to register a time of 1:52.3, about half a second away from his personal best, which is a 1:51.7. But there is still a bit of time for him to improve. It's not like some of the circuits we've been to recently where you won't get too much time to improve on your lap, as Bob Boland comes across the line now and does a lap time that doesn't see him improve. Looking here though at Ian Rootson, this is the arena section you were talking about, Marco, and long sequence of left-handers, and then you've got this quick S-bend at the end of it, and when you put the power down there like Ian Roots did, the car can sometimes get a bit squirrely on the exit because there is a bit of camber on the inside of that final right-hander.
Yeah, it's lots and lots of sliding there, all throughout that section, but like you said, especially in the final corner, which also brings us to the, one of the big points of the new release, being the new tire model V7 on the Skip Barber car only. And I have to say that comparing it to the GT3s, GTE cars, it's completely different because it seems like they were able to finally get rid of the so-called iRacing sliding effect, that when you get a little bit of a slide, the tires heat up immediately 200 degrees more, and then for the next I'd say 10 seconds your car is basically, you are a passenger, the car slides left and right. So I'm already very, very curious to see, I hope in 3 months time, the new tire model on the GT cars, because it might be definitely a game changer. Driving the Skip Barber in week 13 these past few days has been an absolute pleasure, and I really, really hope, and it seems like this is going to be the way racing goes forward with their tires.
Indeed, yeah. For people that haven't been on iRacing before and just come across this stream, welcome. And what we're all explaining is basically iRacing is a season of 12 weeks. They hold official races during that time, and then after that they have what is known as week 13. It's a time when new cars or new tracks get added to the service, and it gives them time to perform some maintenance and add some new features in too. And we're really reaping the benefits over the last few week 13s, haven't we, Marco? We've had day to night transition the last season. We've obviously got a new car this time in the BMW, and some of the other things that you were mentioning as well. So 2019 has really been a great year for many of the people on the iRacing service, and I'm still holding out for Silverstone, a new scanner Silverstone, and I think that might be coming in the next build potentially. So plenty still to look forward to.
Absolutely seems to be what is coming in the next build, even though nothing is official as of yet, but I think that it might be finally time to get it out. I can say that I didn't run in the 24 hours of Daytona this season, but I did run in Sebring on Saturday, by the way, running together against one of the Simracersworld teams. I am sure that Stuart Musselwhite was running in the team, and also I think other drivers of this championship. And I can say that the transition, starting the race in 10 a.m. more or less in sim racing sim time, and finishing at night was gave you more a sense of what you were doing, and it was absolutely amazing. Having also a new element, having to adapt to new braking markers, new reference points, and Sebring is one of those tracks that, like Daytona, when it's dark, it's properly dark in most of the tracks. So it was it really made endurance racing is always fun, but it added an extra element, which is I would say a key element that is absolutely making iRacing made iRacing take a step forward that was absolutely it's a massive change, and I don't know how we managed to do all these enduros without the day-to-night transitions before.
Yeah, we did the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and I keep bringing it up, but over many of the broadcasts, but considering it was 2 years ago now, but that was running complete daytime conditions. It didn't really have much of an impact, but obviously now that we've got the day to night transition, it probably will be light and day, no pun intended, between them, as over the line comes DynamiXX and puts in a new personal best and a new fastest lap time of the qualifying session, a 50.7, or was that the end of an outlap? Not too sure, but he is on a hot one now. You can see that by the way that he's sliding through the arena section. Get the car in the inside as quickly as he can. See how he takes his final right-hander on the rev limiter as he went through there, as he shifted up to third gear. Let's stay on board with him actually and see what this man can do as the Atomic Motorsport driver goes through the forward curve here. This right-hander, this is where Fernando Alonso and Felipe Massa famously collided as Alonso went en route to victory in 2007. Chaotic race there, down the hill towards the Dunlop curve. Potentially overtaking spot, but it is pretty banked. And that means if the car on the outside gets a decent run off here, they can potentially pull alongside and get the position back going into the Schumacher S here. And this is where Marco was saying earlier, you really don't want to be too wide with somebody, because it will almost certainly end in both of you, or at least one of you, going off. Into the Michelin curve now. Flick it in left there, and then another 90-degree right-hander here with the Warsteiner curve. Now onto one of the quickest parts of the circuit. You can see the DRS markers there, but no need to worry about that in these GT3 cars. Now coming up to the NGK chicane, not the F11, we pass by it there. Wing it in left, right. Now the Coca-Cola curve to end the lap. See the hotel approach you on the left-hand side. There it is. Short shifting as well into third gear on the exit. Timing line approaches pretty quickly. Over the line he goes, and it is 50.77 for Van Knecht, and he might not have improved on that one, on that lap, but he remains atop the timing screens as Matthias Dettisch goes into fourth, Marco.
Yes, nice lap there by Dettisch. Nice, fourth spot. If he can keep that, is absolutely a great starting position. Braganza is also coming to the start-finish line. Of course, bronze driver. At the moment, he sits in fourth place of the bronze class and 28th overall. Let's see if he can improve on his time. Green at the start, green at the end of the lap. He improves the time, but doesn't improve his position, as we have Daniel McCauley also on a quick lap with this beautiful BMW. Z4, of course, one of the historic GT3 cars in iRacing. Doesn't seem like a particularly quick lap, and also Gregory Ranks is coming towards the start-finish line.
Could be an important lap for him, of course, and it is. As he goes up to fourth position. We were just mentioning how he needs to try and close the gap to Van Knecht in the second half of the season, and he has done so. He has moved, he hopes so anyway, because he's moved up into fourth position. Just seconds to go. Checkered flag is out now. So Ben Taines, who comes across the line now, his session is over. He's not going to be able to get another lap time in. Is he going to be able to improve from 20 seconds? Doesn't look like it. Matthias Dettisch, we're looking at here, he's got 3 yellow boxes Doesn't look like he's going to be able to improve either unless he sets a blistering final sector. Through the chicane he goes, and he's going to hot-foot it into the pit lane. Here comes Javier Garcia. 4 yellow boxes for him. It's going to have to be a pretty good final sector if he wants to improve from his 3rd starting position. A 51.34 is his personal best. He's only going to improve by 400ths to go into 2nd, but he isn't able to do so. 51.5 for him. Pedro Braganza had a good opening sector, Marco, but it looks like he hasn't been able to improve either. It looks like he's towed back to the pits. Not too many cars left on a hot lap, as we can see from the track map. I think the next one is Jeremy Hessels, the silver class driver, driving in the BMW. I wonder how much longer we'll see the Z4 as being the car of choice for the BMWs. I'm sure it will become a bit of a cult hero in the future, with maybe 1 or 2 drivers still sticking around with it. But here comes Hessels. It could be an improvement. You can see the green box, but he loses this in the final sector, and he's going to remain in that 15th spot.
Yes, as we have another BMW. I think this is Roy Verbeek with his beautiful Automac no-kill livery. To the final corner, as we, I think, have just a few seconds left before the session switches over. Here comes Verbeek in the number 214 BMW. I don't think he will improve himself. No, he won't. As Moons improves himself and moves up to P23. And I think that this will be it for qualifying in this Nürburgring round, and we just wait for the session to switch over, and then we will go through the starting grid. We have, by the way, another great turn up, 34 drivers showing up for this race, and it's nice to have some quality racing during the official week 13. And you know, fun races are fun, but are fun until for one day. Then you want to get back to the proper racing. And luckily we have it covered for you, because we have, of course, tonight Simracersworld Championship, and then on Saturday at 6 GMT we have the Euro V8s, also from the Nürburgring racetrack. So those are absolutely can't miss, races for you. Of course, thank you for joining us in this one. And now, finally, the starting grid.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm sure that many of you have exhausted the Twitch streams of week 13 sessions that have been going on during the week. So glad that you're with us. Here is the starting grid then. The Belgian Ian van Genekten starts on the pole, with the Briton Bob Boland starting alongside him on the front row. Javier Garcia in 3rd, with Gregory Vranckx in 4th. Thijs Dettisch starting in 5th, with Stijn van Buol in 6th. And Ruben van Buol, his teammate, in 7th. Danny McCauley, highest of the Silvers, in 8th. Chris Moretta, 9th. And Arturo Alvarez, keeping McCauley honest, just 2 tenths between those 2 drivers. He starts in 10th. Nick Sherman's 11th. Andrew Hopley in 12th place. Then a few more gold class drivers. Ian Roots, Sebastian Heberer, Jeremy Hessels, and his compatriot, fellow Dutchman, Peter Grauls. Then Anton Dupin, Kobe Klaas, Steve Claes, then Steven de Wolf, then the highest bronze driver in Bram van Alphen, and then Ben Taines, Ronald Moons, and then Roy Verbeek in 24th place. Lee Woodburn 25th, 26th for Stuart Musselwhite. Then we've got Sergio Souza, Pedro Braganza, the Portuguese, Dries Mujdi, Luke Tisch, then Jochen Lernertz, Lee Diemer starting towards the back, the first of the 3 cars not to set a time. Wonder if they'll be taking the start though. Then it's John McConville in 33rd and Tej Berger in 34th as we get set for a not so long pace here. Marco on the back straight, and it just gives the drivers enough time to really work out what position they're in, and then once they get through the NGK chicane, we'll be getting ready to go here.
Yes, exactly. Usually, luckily we are not in a multi-class setting, so we don't need to get separation between the classes. But still, always, you don't want to do the entire pace lap. But on the other hand, it's nice to have some, time to get focused for the race. These drivers, like you said, won't have that luxury, because basically there are 3 corners from now until the start of the race. Pit lane start for Lee Diemer and Thijs Berger, I think, and Anton Dupin. This usually means that these guys have had a penalty from the previous race, or simply that they missed the gridding countdown, or that they elected to start from the pits, but in a competitive... Oh, look at the new iRacing pace car!
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting it. It's a Porsche 911 official pace car, and also nice to see the new colors because it's white, black, and red. Look at that.
Of course, heavy backing from Porsche now. They're the main backers of the World Championship. More of that as the evening goes on, but for now, GT3 cars come through the Coca-Cola curve. The start line is there, but the finish line is there, but the start line is a bit further along, so these cars will have to pace themselves. Now goes Van Genexen. The green lights are in the air. Macaulay looks like he's overtaken a few cars before the lights have gone green. I don't know if he'll face retribution for that, but we're underway for an hour's worth of racing here at the Nürburgring. 3 wide into the first corner. It's going to be Bob Boland that gets the lead, but he turns across.
Oh, some contact there. Oh, more contact. Garcia's having some trouble there. I don't know how this wasn't a massive pile-up. And you can see behind them everybody filing through, more or less. Roy Verweg losing some positions, Lee Woodburn gaining them. I want to get a shot from the onboard of Javi Garcia. Is he having issues with his steering? Doesn't seem very straight, you know. Not massively, but... Oh, and we have a contact in the back. There's many cars pitched in the grass there. I can see Woodburn, for example. Clays also is there. The Wolf also. Something very big must have happened. Let's catch a replay of that. Bram Van Uytven jumped to the pits also. So something very, very big must have happened. Let's get a replay of that.
Well, Bram Van Uytven, we don't need to remind you, if you've watched every round, has basically won every race apart from maybe 1 or 2. And here we are. We're going to see what's going to transpire here. He's already kicking off before he arrives on the scene. And there's a Ferrari off, and there's a Mercedes off there too. It's hard to pinpoint where this all started, but we're going to try and find out. Here we go. This is Steve Place. Oh, he gets tipped into a spin. It all kicks off from there.
Wow. It was basically a snowball effect, as drivers with slowdowns already, but in the front, Van Genexen is already pulling away from Bob Boland and Gregory Ranks. I mean, that was a perfect storm that crashed there. Let's see if Garcia elects to continue. He does. Now he's on the straight. Let's see. The camera is a little bit offset, but maybe it's not that bad because he had some big wheel-to-wheel contact with his opponent there.
Well, yeah, Garcia, if he has avoided damage, he's managed to do it in the best possible way. He had Bob Boland arriving really quickly going into the first corner, turned across, and it looked like there was going to be a bit of a traffic jam down at the first corner, something that we're not too unfamiliar to here at the Nürburgring, but fortunately that didn't transpire, and look, he was able to benefit from it. It was Van Genexen. Here's a replay of what's happened to Chris Moretta. Here he is going into the first corner, start of lap 2, in he goes. Oh, and I think he might either have had enough or something's afoot with that CMR Esports Mercedes. Either way, he's in the pits. And here is our leader at the end of the opening lap. It's Van Genexen, then it's Boland, then it's Ranks, Dettige, Macaulay up 3 positions. We saw most of them he gained on before he even got to the first corner. Garcia in 6th after that issue in turn 1. Stein Van Buell and Ruben as well. And then it's Arturo Alvarez and Andrew Hopley rounding out the top 10. Biggest movers and the opening exchanges are definitely Jochen Lennartz. You can just see him at the bottom of the timing tower there in 17th place, getting 14 spots so far in that BMW, in the DynamiXX BMW, the sponsor of the series. And then John McConville in the Simracersworld cars gained 12. So those are the 2 big movers so far. And looks like McConville may have a bit of attention from Stuart Musselwhite behind him. I think McConville started pretty much stone dead, pretty much near the back, and he's done a fantastic job along with Lennartz in the early going, Marco.
Yes, and I mean, look at that for what happened to the bronze class now, because Lennartz is in 17th and leading his class, and we have his closest rival is Stuart Musselwhite fighting with Braganza, and Musselwhite is in a very, very precarious position. Is someone coming? Musti is coming. He manages to avoid the obstacle. Lee Dimmer is a bit far away, so I think that Musselwhite will be able to, get it starting and going again. So this promotes Braganza to second place in the bronze, and Nuktais is in third of that category. Like I said, Lenners now is a great chance because he has so many drivers between himself and the opposition, and also Macaulay now in first, of course, of the silver drivers. But we have battles all over the field with Gregory Ranks trying to get a move done, if possible, on Boland, even though he has to also watch his mirrors because the Tige, his teammate, is getting closer and closer.
We've got all the makings of a good race here. The Nürburgring should lend itself well to these GT3 cars, and we can see in the early going, I know we're only 5 minutes into a 60-minute race, but this battle for second place looks like it's got no signs of abating, mainly because it's got so many good drivers in it. With Mercedes and BMW well represented here. We've got Boland leading ranks, then it's Detige, then it's Danny Macaulay in the silver class in the CQR Club BMW, then it's Garcia and then the two Van Buels, unmistakable those two in their 7-Up Jordan liveries from the early 90s, and then it's Alvarez and Hopley rounding up the top 10, but a bit of gap between the two Van Buels as here come Ian Roots and Ronald Moons. And it is Roots getting ahead, but Ronald Moons should be able to get the cutback going through the NGK chicane. Just can't send it up the inside going into the Coca-Cola curve, and that is a good battle that's unfolding for 14th and 15th place as they come onto the front straight again. Can the Sim Mortal car get past the Sim Racers World car into the first corner? He is maybe not too far away to send it up the inside, but he better of it. Maybe a bit of defensive driving there by Moons as well. Now we're going into the arena section where we're really going to see if Ronald Moons can close that gap. He goes in there, washes out a bit wide on the exit, should close up again going under braking, going into the left and the right to end the arena section, and he remains half a second or so behind.
Yes, you see, basically Roots went for a move at the NGK chicane, and so he was able to complete the move, but you have such a bad momentum coming out of the corner when you make a move into that chicane that you see how Moons was able to stay very, very close to him. Then I think maybe due to a little bit better setup or something like that, Roots was able to pull away, but it was close on the straight as well, and I think Moons could have tried and go for a move there, but he elected not to, which is very, very early, and maybe didn't want to risk a crash this early. But that stresses the point even more about what it's really, as the Van Buel brothers are switching positions, with Ruben getting past Steve Van Buel just before the chicane. Smart decision. So this once again goes to show that this is not at all a passing opportunity. You really need some luck and some bravery there as well.
Onto the front straight they go again, and this really has closed up a bit now. Steiner's really starting to feel the pressure from Arturo Alvarez. He was pretty quick in qualifying. He wasn't too far away in terms of pace from Daniel Macaulay, and he's looking up the inside going into the first corner. He disappears to the inside, and he's got the move done. It looks like he's clear. He's giving the Buell Racing car plenty of space on the inside as the two BMWs go into battle through the arena section. Oh, he sends it! And a bit of door banging there. And the VRO car now is really hung out to dry. Around the outside goes Andrew Hopley. He's going to get through. Here comes another BMW. That's Nick Sherman's. Sorry, Jeremy Hessel's with a full head of steam. He's trying to get up the inside going into the forward curve, but can't find any way through. And poor Alvarez, he's just getting swamped. Next up, it's Nick Sherman's in the Sim Racers World car trying to find a way through. But it looks like finally Alvarez has found some level ground. And after the time Van Buel flew up the inside and hit him, Marco, he's lost a few positions as a result of that. It's now down to 11th.
And all positions that he lost in his class. So basically went from 2nd to 4th in his class, and now under pressure from Nick Sherman, who's also a silver driver. So you see, I think sometimes you also have to think about this. I mean, do I go for a move on a driver that is not in my class? So do I care more about the overall, or do I care more about my championship, depending on my rating as a driver? As Javier Garcia went past Macaulay. So it seems like the drivers are looking to make their moves, if possible, before the chicane, and maybe with a good exit from the previous corner, since there is a decently sized, let's call it straight, even though it has a corner. It might be a key to gaining positions if you can get a good exit there and make your move before the chicane, because more often than not the driver behind you won't risk a move going to the chicane to get back in front.
Yeah, especially with that NGK chicane too. As we look at this battle for... There you go, there's a change of position. That is up the inside Gregory Franks. Sorry, it's Matthias Dertige getting past Gregory Franks. And that's Gregory down to 4th position now. A few position changes in this lead battle then. Bob Boland remains in that 2nd spot, but it's now Matthias Dertige in 3rd and Gregory Franks in 4th. You can hear the tyres screech going through the quick S-bend. Anton Dupin, computer troubles for him. Yep. He is done for the day. Same too for Chris Moretta, not Chris Moretta, but he's also out of the race. For him, his problem was getting a lap 1 slowdown and not being able to serve it in time and getting a black flag as a result. And it's such a killer, the slowdown penalty on the opening lap, Marco, because iRacing has no relative to base it on, and you just get dumped with a huge slowdown penalty. And if you're not able to serve it within 1 or 2 sectors, you get a black flag, and then your race is pretty much ruined.
Absolutely, and also with all the tightly bunched cars, it's absolutely impossible to, or not very dangerous, I'd say, not impossible, but very, very dangerous to try and get rid of that slowdown whilst there are 40 cars behind you, more or less, all fighting for position. As Ben Taines has got a problem, and we will show it to you right now. Let's see what happened here.
Yes, you can see the damage to the Mercedes. It goes up the inside. Oh, and he goes for a trip through the gravel. I remember Damon Hill doing that in 1996 on somebody, and it ended in similar results. Of course, Schumacher was in that gravel in 2003. Got a bit of a helping hand from the marshals on that occasion. So we rejoin Ben Taines live now. He's got a bit of damage to the front on that Mercedes. He remains in 21st place, the silver driver. In terms of where that would put him in the silver class, it would be about 8th or 9th position. As we look at this battle between Steve Claes, Teish Berger here. Berger's gained 8th position since the start of the race. Steve Claes has lost 8. Ferrari was one of the cars that was spinning around at the exit of the arena section on the opening lap, trying to get those positions back. Not too much damage to the Ferrari, but you can see on the front left it's a bit out of joint. See, the Ferrari though can still pack a punch down the front straight. Straight line speed is where the Ferrari is renowned for being at its best. Even with a bit of a damaged car, you'd expect Claes to somehow get involved, but it almost seems it's not long enough of a straight for him to do too much damage on that Mercedes, which can also pack a bit of a speed in there too, Marco. So Berger doing a good job of holding on to that 26th place for now.
Yes, and as we know, the Mercedes is absolutely the most balanced out of the GT3 cars. So also notice that whilst joining the server that there are only 5 models available for this championship. So I think that the Ford, even if someone wanted to run, is not allowed in this championship. So too bad, because it's a good idea. I mean, the Ford is like you like to call it in previous broadcast, it's a troll car. You use the Ford when you want to get attention to you. But the iRacing GT3 scene is in a bit of a predicament right now, because there are some GT3s that are very recent and are still raced around the world, and others like the BMW, like the McLaren, that are less than current, and they have long since been retired in real competition. So it's not even easy to keep a good balance of performance between these cars, which they seem to be able to do it in iRacing quite well, and we see in this series especially, with the BMW being used by many drivers and with great results. But even though there was the meme once in the iRacing forums of more GT3, I think that maybe it might be time to get some new ones into the service, because it's weird to have this field of, you know, half the cars are, you know, still used, and half of them are, well, have long since been retired.
Indeed, yeah, the Mercedes AMG G3, I believe that's been moved on. That's been moved on too now. So when we get to the Blancpain GT series in real life in a few weeks' time, you probably won't see too many of these cars on the grid. In fact, the Audi, which I don't think is represented here at all tonight, that may have had the same fate too. Battle for second place then. This is Bob Boland. Matthias Dettige is right behind, and then he's got Gregory Vranks, his Simracersworld teammate, for company. These three have left Javier Garcia and Daniel McCauley now. Since getting past McCauley, Garcia's really lost touch, these three, as they come across the line. Let's see what the lap times are like between them. Very, very close is the answer. Boland 52.62, Dettige 52.67, and Gregory Vranks doing 52.5. So Vranks was the quickest out of them on the last tour of the circuit. We are looking at the Simracersworld driver, car 99 from the back, of his teammate Matthias Dettige going into the slowest part of the arena section now. Only a quarter of an hour gone as Dettige spins the tyres going through the left-hander. We're going to see a replay here of
yeah,
KB
we have,
Place.
I think, the first victim of the new stalling capabilities of iRacing, because according to the chat, he wasn't able to get the car moving again after stalling it. So, and you can see that was on the formation lap, by the way. So, good for him that they towed immediately without, you know, giving black flags left and right. You know, it's always I keep it deactivated because I make a lot of mistakes myself. I certainly don't need to make the mistakes and also have the car stall on me while I'm in the gravel trap, you know, wondering about my terrible driving skills. So, but there are many drivers who have been waiting for this for a long time, and well, sometimes it can have, you know, unexpected consequences. But I have to say that the sound of the car, you know, turning on the engine, it's quite nice to hear when you come out of the pits.
One thing that I would have thought about is that's a bit of a downhill part of the circuit as Van Buel and McCauley now start battling. I don't know if iRacing has put this capability in, but I wonder if you could bump start it or not, just because it was rolling downhill. But either way, here is a good battle. It's BMW versus BMW. It's Daniel McCauley versus Ruben Van Buel. McCauley has been, with all ratings in respects, dropping down the order since the start of the race. He'd got a few positions, but now he's under threat from one of the cars that he passed before we even got to turn one. We saw the start he got. He was almost past the two Buell Racing cars before the lights had gone green, and now they want these places back. And last time around, Dan Van Buel was 0.2 of a second quicker than the CQR Club driver. And BMW, this will be a part of the circuit that it likes, and even with the long straight, we can see with the majority of the BMWs in this field that it's still a circuit that relatively suits it well.
Yes, it does, and I'm always very surprised about the difference in representation by the BMW in this championship and in the official iRacing VRS GT Sprint Series, because there the BMW has become an endangered species. It's very hard to find. If you find one or two in your session, you are lucky. Usually it's Mercedes, Ferrari, some Audis here and there. But in this championship, the BMW is being used, and with great success by many drivers. So we see two of them in one shot right now. So this means that the car can be used in a productive way to get good results. The problem is, I think, it needs to be, you have to really be dedicated to this car if you want to make it go fast. And drivers in this championship prepare for the race week by week, so they have all the time, and you know, they dedicate a lot of their time into getting their BMW to work the way it should work. Maybe in the official series it's more of a, you know, jump on and race with a bit of practice. So, and they prefer running with the Mercedes, the Ferrari, or the Audi. As this battle here, this is I mean, one of the things that always happens in this championship. We have these battles that go on for a long time, and not necessarily not necessarily with many overtake attempts, etc. But just imagine both Ball and Detige and Ranks, all three of them being so close since basically the first lap, and always thinking that it only takes one mistake to lose positions or to lose contact with this battle. So props to these drivers, because it must not be easy to drive under such constant pressure all race long.
And it's a circuit where if you do make a mistake, you're almost certainly punished. Aside from the arena section, pretty much every single corner here on this circuit is surrounded by grass and then pretty lethal gravel traps around here. Now, don't think on iRacing you can get stuck in them. Don't think that's a feature yet, but they do obviously cause you to lose a lot of time and positions as well. And drivers will be very wary as they continue around the circuit, where if they do make a mistake, they could be really punished. Schumacher S is potentially a hot spot too, because not only do you have the chance, if you do lose it there, you'll go for the grass and the gravel, but you do have the opportunity to hit the wall potentially. So areas to watch out for on this circuit as the cars go through the NGK chicane again. That left-hander there, that's where the circuit rejoins the Nordschleife, but we go for the final corner now, the Coca-Cola curve, back onto the front straight again. Here van Genechten putting in a 52.1. Boland, Dettige and Franks 0.2 of a second behind. But Garcia puts in a new personal best. There's a change of positions unfolds there. That's Gregory Franks allowing Matthias Dettige through. Maybe he's thinking if I can't get past Bob Boland in second place, I might as well let you have a go, Gregory. That's what's taken place there, and it looks like Danny McCauley, Marco, has lost another position, this time to Ruben Van Buel.
Yes, Van Buel is on the charge. He is side by side here, and once again another driver that is able to make the move before the chicane. And also McCauley, either he had a slowdown or he just gave up the position because he really lifted a lot before after being passed by Van Buel. So he is now down in 7th. McCauley still leading, as we can see in just a second. Still leading the silver class, whilst of course Van Genechten is leading in the gold and in the overall. And Jochen Lennartz is your leader over Pedro Braganza in the bronze class.
Look at this. Great battle here. Oh, so close to contact there. What a move around the outside there by Lee Diemer. Luke Tisch was going up the inside, going into the final part of the arena section. Lee Diemer didn't pay any attention to that BMW that was on the inside. And now we've got a fantastic battle here. Yeah, Garcia has got past Matthias Dettige. He'd let Gregory Franks through, and now he's let Garcia through. I wonder if there could be a potential problem with Garcia, because he isn't keeping up with Garcia now. Garcia is off down the straight. There he goes, he disappears off into the distance. He's short shifting as well. Well, he's short shifting there. He definitely revved all the way up to 5th gear. Don't know whether he's trying to potentially save fuel, but he's doing it in a potentially obvious way. And he's gone from chasing Bob Boland for 2nd to now being in 5th position. Here is a replay of 1st position.
This is the first pass. Yeah, this is the first pass. Let's see. He lets his teammate go by, lifting quite clearly. So nothing strange there, but let's see also this other overtake. If I can find it. Here we go. Going through the gears. Little bit of a mistake there, but he was still very slow coming out of maybe a slowdown, maybe. Let's see, let's keep an eye on his times, as Alvarez is the first taker. He's in the pits from P27 right now. And, he towed, you are right, he towed without any... Oh, no. Oh.
Now that was car 30... Oh, dear me, I think it said 34. I think it ended in a 4. I was looking at it again. Here it is. Here's a replay. It was... We're about to find out. Into the first corner we go. P11 versus P10. He's in P12 here. Up the inside he goes of car 42, Sebastian Heberer. I don't even think Heberer even saw he was there. He came from a long way back, Arturo Alvarez, and it looks like that may have broken something on the right rear because he obviously hasn't been able to get going again, and he's in the pits and couldn't have picked the worst place to tow either, Marco. He's just started a lap and now he's going to basically wait a whole lap to get towed back to the pits before they can start repairing the damage.
Yes, absolutely, and that I absolutely agree with you. His opponent there probably didn't even notice that he was going to have a car on the inside. An unfortunate crash there, and like you said, a long tow back to the pits for Alvarez there, and certainly his chances of a good finish are absolutely gone right now. So he's well, in for a long wait. Luckily it's not the Nordschleife, the tow is very boring, but still, when you are there and your car has been towed, the time seems to go by so slowly, and you keep hearing the cars pass you by on the straight. This is particularly true on ovals, and it's always a terrible feeling.
I think Alvarez might have got tired of waiting. He might have exited the session. So that is the end of his day. This is a good battle going over, including a second place in the bronze class in Pedro Braganza. We've got Lee Diemer here, who pulled off a good move on Luke Thies at this very spot a couple of laps ago. Got John McConville in front of him, who's one of the biggest movers in the field so far, 13 spots. But that might be about to go down one because he has got a very eager Immortal car looking up the inside going into the forward curve. This could be interesting. Wheel-to-wheel stuff going through here.
Oh, careful!
Wow, that very nearly ended in contact, but fortunately for both of them, they were able to continue. Almost certainly they were going to go off then when McConville went up the inside. It looks like he may have picked up a bit of damage to the front right, as here's a replay of Ian Roots. We talked about the Schumacher S earlier. Turns in, goes across the grass and the gravel. Well, it doesn't actually, he misses it, but
he supposedly make a pass, but there is no Nick Schurmans around on the track, so I mean in the replay, so it supposedly went by him. Let's also take a look at the other overtake here.
Did see his name blink off and on, so it might have just been a timing glitch on that part, but yeah, here is the replay of the other move. Up the inside goes Diemer, and then our camera's probably going to get taken out by McConville. There he goes. Somehow he seems to have got more damage on the front right there, even though he hit him with the front left. Not too sure on that, but yeah, that is what transpired there, and that is Lee Diemer up to 21st place as we rejoin here the battle for second. It started off this race with it being about 4 or 5 cars, and now it's down to just 2 cars that are scrapping away for the runners-up spot. These two look set to get a podium. Which one's going to be getting the silver medal? At the moment, it's Bob Boland. CMR Esports car has been in second place pretty much since the get-go here. So Gregory Franks, who's eager to make sure that EF Van Genexten cannot extend this championship lead any further as we go into the second half of the season, is in 3rd place. If you're wondering what the gap is between Boland and our leader Van Genexten, it is 6.2 seconds. So unless something goes wrong or amiss in terms of the pit stops, or EF Van Genexten makes a mistake, it looks likely that he could be en route for another potential victory here. You can see how the gap has evolved during the race, and very amazingly how quick it's grown over the last few laps, Marco. On lap 10 it was 3.9. He's almost doubled that within the space of 3 laps. It's now up to 6 seconds.
Yeah, Boland is up under massive pressure right now from Ranks, who's trying to get the most slipstream possible and maybe go for a dive into the first corner on the outside, making a little bit of a dummy there, not forcing the issue on the inside, but quite clearly in the last few laps it seems like Ranks has been much quicker than Boland there, and of course the more they battle, the more Van Genexten, who already has a nice lead, can get it even, his lead, he can make it even bigger. So let's see if Boland can respond, or if Ranks can stake his claim and move up to 2nd position.
Boland is really sliding about there, going through the arena section. You can see how much dirt and that gets thrown up onto the windscreen as well. It is looking pretty dirty when they get to the pit stop, so they will be able to take a tear off the car. they'll be able to get clear vision again. Loads of bugs squashed against that windscreen as Gregory Ranks continues to wonder whereabouts he'll be able to get this move done on Bob Boland. We could see in the opening sector of the lap that the Simracersworld car that we're on board with now was quite a bit quicker than Boland, but pretty good through the middle sector. Look at the gap that he to reduce there. Gregory Ranks going through the 90-degree left and the 90 right. Now through the back straight up to the NGK chicane. See if Gregory Franks can close the gap even more as he reaches top gear. Braking down to third. Boland's car looks pretty sprightly through there. Now into the final corner again, down to second. You can really see just from being on board with Franks on this lap marker where he has the pace on Bob Boland and where CMR Esports car has the pace on him as he goes to this battle for spot in the top 9.
Absolutely, you see better lap here from Boland and able to pull up to 0.7 of a second over his rival there, and trying to get back into a good rhythm. As this battle here, Essel, Sopley and Heberer are close to each other as they go down to the first corner once again for the 17th time. A move from Hopley, very, very optimistic there, and Essels is forced to go a bit wide, so they will be side by side entering into the arena with Heberer looking, maybe trying to profit from a mistake. They almost touched there, so certainly a brave move there from Hopley. Could have been a lot worse, and look at Heberer also. Oh no! He's around there, Essels, and Heberer gets one position, maybe even two, as also Schurmans profits from this contact. And yeah, I mean, Hopley really wanted that position because he was very, very aggressive in the first corner, and then he was even aggressive into the arena. Let's get the replay of that.
It is. See, he was really struggling just from the moment. Oh, look, understeer. My word, and oh well. Make your own minds up on that one, I think. Jeremy Hessel's getting clattered into there, and he's now, as a result, dropped down to 12 places. Here's the battle now with Danny McCauley and the other Van Buell. Ruben got by a couple of laps to go. Now it's the turn of Stein to try and get by, as we've just gone past the halfway point in this race. Danny McCauley looking like he's going to be dropped back to where he started at this rate. Here comes Van Buell. Oh, he'd be naive if he wants to try and get a move done into there. And it looks like he may have lost a couple of attempts as a result. Attempts that he could have used to maybe either get a move done into this final corner, the Coca-Cola curve, or maybe even into the first corner, because half a second now looks like it might just be a bit too far back to dive up the inside into the first corner. He is closing the gap as come across the line though, but I think it might be another lap for Stein Van Buell to wait before he can get past Daniel McCauley, who was slightly quicker than Stein on that last lap, but that is understandable given the fact that Van Buell had a pretty poor line going through the NGK chicane.
As the gap in front, P2 and P3, by the way, is shrinking once again. Nice, as we have some lapped cars also in the way. Nice sequence of corners there from Ranks, who gets a nice exit. Not close enough to try for a move at the hairpin, but maybe thanks to his lapped car something might happen, and maybe Ranks will have the chance to try something. Always a difficult moment for all parties involved when you're in a battle and you have to lap someone.
Joe Musselwhite's coming to the pits as well. I don't know whether this is going to be an omen for what's to come here. Usually in this series, the cars do tend to come in with not too many minutes to go, just making sure that they've got enough fuel in to get to the end, and that leads to usually pretty quick pit stops. We'll see if any of these two come in. Boland will probably want to keep the track position because he doesn't want to lose that second spot, but at the same time, if Franks comes in, he might be able to be unleashed on his out lap, put in a few decent lap times, and by the time Boland then comes in, he could lose that second spot. So it's going to be a tough decision for Boland. He might just play it to the fuel number and completely forget about Franks behind him, and then come in when the fuel is at a premium. But we'll wait and see. Good to see there with the manufacturers up that we've got a pretty even split inside the top 12, as Jeremy Hessel's, you may have lost a place. But in the top 5, we've got 5 Mercedes, and after that, we've got 4 BMWs, trio of Mercedes, and then a couple of more BMWs as well inside the top 20. So pretty even splitters. Here is Jeremy Hessels. I think he might have gone off going for the MGK chicane here. No, maybe. Might be in the final corner actually. Oh, that was a bit weird. It's not as if the car bottomed out, Marco, because he only had 2 wheels on that curb, but he wasn't able to turn in going into that final corner.
Yeah, let's see if he has damage after that contact earlier. Let's see on the straight how he's holding his steering. It seems to be okay. As once again, back here in this battle between Boland and Ranks, with Ranks, he gets close, then he goes a bit behind, then he gets close again, as we have Pedro Braganza in the pits from 3rd place in the bronze category, as also Van Buel and Macaulay are going at it and are actually closer than Boland and Ranks, as Macaulay is defending quite in a nice way on Van Buel, but Van Buel has been on his heels for the past few laps. So we'll see. Maybe it's time to go to the pits. I mean, meaning that the pit window is open for everyone. You have to decide: do I stay out and keep fighting, or maybe risk losing time, but then have a shorter pit stop later, saving fuel, or do I pit immediately and opt for the best? As Van Genechten goes for a little bit of an excursion there, but like you said, in the Mercedes arena, so you can get away with it.
Yeah, not too much in the way of grass and gravel to cause issues for Van Genechten. In fact, not too much of anything cause him any problems. It's been a case so far this season that he has pretty much dominated proceedings. Just looking at how things transpired, he won round 1, round 2. In fact, he won the first 4 races before a 0 in round 5. But since then, carried on winning. Back-to-back wins after that in round 6 and round 7, and here we are at round 8. Remarkably, he's only been on the pole 4 times, but he has set the fastest lap 7 out of 7 times, and as things stand, he's on course to set fastest lap of the race again here, and it looks like he's going to get the complete sweep as well, bar any issues occurring to him in the final 24 minutes. He got the pole position in qualifying, currently has the fastest lap. In fact, he's the only driver in the field to lap in the 151s in this race, and he should get the race win. Here is Javier Garcia. He's under pressure from Matthias Dertige. In fact, has Garcia got past Dertige in the last few moments, as the Simracersworld cars were 3rd and 4th. In fact, this is Dertige back on the push, isn't it? Because he lost that position to Garcia, of course.
Yes.
Here we go, 2 wide into the chicane. Garcia holds the inside line, and he was just enough alongside where he had the corner there. And Dertige, he had lost the pace earlier, Marco, but he's back on it now, and he's giving Garcia something to think about as we look here at Steve Clace going into battle with Luke Teese.
Yes, he had that problem earlier. I mean, he let his teammate go by, then he lost the position on Garcia. And be careful there. And it seemed like either a slowdown or something wrong with his car or his equipment, because he was going very, very slow. And now he's back on the pace as Ian Roots is in from P14 in the gold class as well. So good to see him back on the pace now. Of course, his teammate Ranks, you see, is a bit ahead. I think around 4 seconds ahead of himself and of the TG himself and Garcia. So maybe the podium is out of reach right now. But Garcia, getting past Garcia is definitely possible.
We'll have to wait and see. If not, if he can't do it on track, he might have a bit of help from the pit stop. Cars that have been in that are still on the circuit. Ian Roots has been in. 7 seconds stop for him. He's back out on the track again in the Simracersworld car as the Dertige goes through Schumacher S. Ronald Moons was off there. It was probably just a little run through the arena section as Danny Macaulay still cannot shake away the Buell Racing car driven by Stijn van Buell in 8th place. Stijn has lost 2 positions since the start of the race. He'll be eager to get one of them back. And as for Daniel McCauley, if he gets passed by Stein here, he's going to be right back where he started. He qualified 8th on the grid. He was the highest of the silvers. He still is the highest silver driver in the field, but he's trying to keep the gold of Van Buel behind him. He's already been passed by one Van Buel today. He'll be eager to make sure that he doesn't get passed by another. He was pretty good going through the NGK chicane there, going into the final corner, the Coca-Cola curve. Look at Van Buel. He put his foot down very early on there. Runs a bit wide on the exit. He was closer than when we last checked in on this battle a couple of laps ago. But I think Danny McCauley still has enough in reserve that he's going to be able to keep that 7-up liveried BMW at bay again going into the hairpin. Great battle between these guys. And another silver car is coming to the pits. That is Jeremy Hessels. He is currently 3rd in the silver class. He is trundling down the pit lane now. May get a little bit of damage repaired. We'll wait and see. But we rejoin this battle now, going through the arena section. This was added in 2002. The Nürburgring, the Grand Prix circuit, the Nürburgring itself opened for Grand Prix cars in 1984. Hosted the European Grand Prix there. Then took an 11-year hiatus off the calendar before coming back in 1995. Schumacher pulled off a great comeback to pass. Bless me. Jean Alesi with a couple of laps to go. And then 1996, we were treated to an excellent battle between Schumacher and Jacques Villeneuve. Villeneuve in the Williams, Schumacher in the Ferrari. Not hearing too much good news out of Williams, in fact. Marco, this week, hearing that Paddy Lowe has left. Apparently, it's down to the performance in winter testing. Makes you wonder what pace Williams are going to have when we get to Melbourne for the start of the F1 next week.
Absolutely shocking. And when I was younger, absolutely Williams were the team to beat. And I always had, a soft spot in my heart for those, the Rosman's livery back in the days, blue and white and gold and yellow and red a bit, of the mid-90s, and how tough was it for me. They're switching to the red livery in 1998, and of course also I was a big fan of Juan Pablo Montoya when he was in Formula 1, so Williams have always been in my heart, and it's such, it's very, very sad to have them in such a poor position, and they really risk having one of those long seasons that can really drag, and hopefully they are I'm speculating, of course, hopefully they are okay with their bank account and everything, because it's not good when you get yourself into the grid for testing, and not only you cannot run, but when you finally can run, you are basically lapping very, very slow and completely, totally off the pace.
Tell you what, McLaren looked pretty good. As here comes Javier Garcia versus Matthias Dertige. You can't really read too much into winter testing, but Lando Norris is pretty good some parts during the test. Obviously, Williams have got two very good drivers underneath them. They've got Robert Kubica and George Russell, Formula 2 champion from last season. As we look at a replay here of John McConville, Simracersworld car through the back section of the circuit. And what's going to take place here? He runs through the gravel, back on his way again. While that's happened, Gregory Vranckx has got past, Matthias Dertige has got past Javier Garcia. So that is Dertige now up in 4th place before we even get to the pit stops. So a good move there from him. We'll hopefully see a replay of how he did it, and it's where he's got to try and chase down. Here it is. And well, it starts off going through the left-hander. He's going to throw it to the inside. That is going to be a very good move if he can get it done. So it looks like Garcia gives him the space. Maybe too much space. And yeah, Dertige goes through into 4th place, Marco.
Yes, as Van Buel is pushing super hard, he just made a little bit of a mistake, and this gives McCauley a little bit of breathing room there. But still, once again, Boland and Vranckx nose to tail. And they have been like this for almost 45 minutes, as pit stop are getting closer and closer. Like you said, some drivers already went in, as also Ronald Moons had a little bit of an issue going wide, I think, here, or maybe he just had the usual run through the parking lot. Let's see. Yes, that is exactly what it was, so nothing major, you can get away with it, no problem. So it remains to be seen when these guys will pit. Will Ranks try to play it, you know, to do a sort of an undercut, even though tires are not taken, or will they stop together? Let's see, because there is not much time left. So if you have something up your sleeve, you'd better do it sooner rather than later.
Battle for second place, it just keeps carrying on, doesn't it? We just hope that it will continue after the pit stops. There has been a history before of battles being like this, being pretty close, but then one driver has something going wrong in the pit stops. Maybe they are too fast going into the pit lane and to serve a bit of an extra long pit stop. Maybe others have decided to take tyres as well, which has really hindered them. But we'll wait and see here. We're into the final quarter of an hour then. In round 8 of the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series here at the Nürburgring on Apex Racing TV. Quite a few cars have fallen by the wayside during the race. We've had Kobe Klaas is out, Bram van Alphen, the bronze leader, eliminated very early on. Anton Dupin, computer issues for him. Chris Moretta had to got black flagged early on. Lee Woodburn also out. Stephen de Wolf, Dries Moujdi, and Arturo Alonso Alvarez all out. Also to Bentane, Steve Place also. So we've got 24 cars still running here. 19 of them are on the lead lap, and we'll see how many more get lapped by here van Genekten, who is still continuing to set pretty rocking pace here as battle second and third continues. That car behind, that is a Matthias Dertige. It is a Simracersworld car, but it's not the fourth place man. That is Stuart Musselwhite, who they have just put a lap down. Second place in the bronze class, in fact, as the first place bronze driver, Jochen Lennert, comes into the pits. The Dynamics car coming down the pit lane now. The BMW is coming to get the little bit of fuel needed to get across the line.
We also solved the mystery of Kobe Klaas. He's not the first victim of the new, stalling capabilities, but simply he forgot that he had his engine map set to like a yellow flag pace car situation, and so that's why he didn't have any kind of power when he pressed on the gas pedal. So he was in a massive fuel saving mode, and he admitted his fault. He was doing some testing earlier today apparently, and he forgot to put it back into the fuel map 1 full power.
Not what you'd have wanted, definitely. Here is the battle for 7th place. This is another one that carries on. Look at Van Diel. That's about the second or third time that we've seen him do that, where he's putting the power down as early as he can so he can try and close the gaps with Corley down the front straight, because this is where really he's got his best chance of getting by. He is pretty close. He's only 2/10 of a second away, but if we get on the brakes first corner, just can't get it done. Maybe the arena section might be the chance. Looks to the inside going into turn 2. He is too far away. And 4/10 of a second is built up again before we can even get on the brakes going into the second part of the arena section. I think Van Buel knows, Marco, that final corner is going to be so crucial, because if he can get just close enough going into the first corner, he can either go for the move there, or maybe try and get a move done through the first part of the arena section, because he was 4/10 of a second. Oh, look at this! He was just going to completely throw away everything I was going to say, and very nearly sent it, did a dive bomb into the forward curve there. That would have been a great move if he could get it done.
Yeah, sadly that cost him a little bit of time, but I absolutely agree with you. He knows that, he knows where his passing opportunities are. Of course, this is rendered a bit more tough by the fact that they are both racing in the BMW, so the car, of course, will behave similarly and will have the same good point and bad point to make an overtake, try and overtake. See, Van Buel made that mistake there, but still he is able to close the gap quite quickly to his opponent, as also at the front, once again, these two guys, Bolan and Ranks. Look at Ranks putting half of his car on the curb there. He is trying everything to get past his opponent. It's not easy. Maybe he has a chance now. Will he go for the dive on the inside? He won't.
Well, Didn't think about it there. Boland goes a bit deep, in fact, going into that first corner. Might allow Detige another opportunity. They've very nearly come together there. Now he's going to try and get the cutback on the exit, Frank. Could he go for it now? Oh, he thought about it. Andrew Hopley's coming to the pits again. Boland goes wide. Could the tyres be starting to cry enough on these Mercedes? Obviously, we are approaching the hour mark. Most of the drivers will almost certainly be going for fuel just because you can't change tyres while you're getting the car refueled, and you don't want to lose so much time in the pits. So it will be just fuel only, but you can see the tyres, the cars are starting to slide about a bit. Potential understeer. Interestingly enough, Matthias Detige, who is 4.4 seconds behind these two, put in a purple sector 3 on the previous lap. It might be just a little bit too early to rule him out as Boland runs wide. Gregory Franks gets alongside going into the Schumacher rest, but Boland has the ability to shut the door and keep the Simracersworld car at bay, but it might just be a matter of time. He's ducking and diving this way and that, but Boland just maintaining the racing line. Didn't see anything too untoward there. So Franks is, you can see he's really impatient. He's trying to get by. Gets another fantastic run. Fantastic run. Let's see what he can get it. If he can get it done into the NGK chicane. If not, then can he get it done into the Coca-Cola curve? I think Boland may have decided that discretion is the better part of valor, and he does. Through goes Gregory Franks into second place. Is he going to go straight for the pit lane? No, he isn't. Bob Boland definitely is, and so too is Van Genexen. The race leader comes into the pit.
Just a quick note about the lap times. We are not seeing what we had, for example, in Sebring last week, where, if you remember, there were parts of the race where the cloud cover made the track a little bit colder, and that we saw the lap times go down dramatically. And then as soon as the sun came out from behind the clouds, you had back to the regular times. But today I cannot remember the track being anything but very sunny, as we have a massive number of cars coming to the pits right now. So really interesting, that purple sector 2 that we had there for the Tige.
Yeah, Sebring last week, the clouds came over for about 3 or 4 laps. We were getting purple lap times by everybody. Ruben Van Buell comes out of the pits. Stein Van Buell's come in too. So that's going to be interesting in terms of the battle between him and Daniel McCauley. Could Daniel McCauley have stayed out for another lap? Is Stein going to be able to put in a decent out lap so that when McCauley comes in, he's going to be able to overtake him? Here's a replay of Sebastian. Here's a replay of Stein Van Buell, I should say. His pit stop time was 9.12.
I think he missed his pit stall, or maybe I'm mistaken. Let's see. Yes, he did.
Yeah. Yes, he did. And could that be crucial in terms of whether he gets out ahead or behind Daniel McCauley? It will be the fine margins. Gregory Franks now leads. Matthias Detige is in second. Simracersworld 1-2, but it's pretty academic, really, because they're yet to stop. Javier Garcia is in third, Daniel McCauley fourth, and then it's our effective race leader, Van Genexen, in fifth. Gregory Franks being very polite, making sure he gets inside that inside the white line before getting into the pits. Can you cut across, or will you get an unsafe entry pit warning, a pit penalty, Marco?
You can do that. I tried myself, and I was very concerned for the entirety of the pit stop that I was going to get a black flag in the IMSA series the other day, or was it the Blancpain series? I don't remember. But yes, I tried it. You can do it. But nice of these drivers to respect the rules, as McCauley stays out for another lap, and Van Genexen, of course, passes all the guys now in the pits. So Garcia, Ranks, Detige, Eberer, Schurmans, you can see them coming in, and this will basically promote once again into the provisionary lead of the race Van Genexen as Boland and Ranks once again side by side, and Ranks is in front of Boland, just like it was a second before the pit stops. Detige, Van Buell, Garcia is here. Stein Van Buell is also coming out of the pits, but of course his battle will be with our new temporary leader, Daniel McCauley.
Really interesting to see what Daniel McCauley does here. We've only got 7 minutes to go, and it's basically a 2-minute lap around here. So we've only got a couple of laps to go. He could theoretically potentially pit with 1 lap to go, and then then it would be really interesting to see where he emerged. Got here Van Genexen 1.6 seconds away, which really shows the pace that Van Genexen has. That he's only 1.4 seconds away from Danny McCauley, who hasn't been into the pits yet. But he is basically, him and Ronald Moons, the only two drivers that are yet to stop in this race. It's Van Genexen, then it's Franks, then Boland, then it's Dettige, then it's Van Buell. Garcia, in fact, has been passed by Van Buell during that round of pit stops because Garcia had a pit stop time that was 21.6 seconds. Almost certainly means that he sped going into the pits. Can't really think of any other reason. Here comes McCauley now. He's going to come in to the pits, and it'll be interesting to see if we can get him and Stein Van Buell up on the track map just to see where the two are going to be in terms of rejoining. It is usually in the pit lane for about 36 seconds. Onto the back straight now comes Stein Van Buell, and Danny McCauley hasn't made it to his pit box yet, but we are expecting the stop to be around 7 or 8 seconds as long as he hits his marks, and he has done that now. So Van Buell going through the NGK chicane, he's on his way to the Coca-Cola curve. McCauley should be pulling away now. He is. Is he out of the pit lane? He is going to hit the pit lane speed limiter there. Where is Stein Van Buell? Where is Javier Garcia for that matter? It looks like McCauley is going to be out ahead of Garcia. In fact, he is, as long as he makes this first corner. Just about does. And, wow, that's a decent strategy there for McCauley. Don't know if he had something in reserve, but obviously he's benefited from the pit lane penalty for Garcia, and he's been able to get ahead of Stein Van Buell, who had to reverse back into his pit box. So it's worked out pretty well for him now with 5 minutes to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, apologies, the track map is on strike today, and decided to not show up despite me calling many times over. But hopefully we did our best. And I mean, Van Buell, I thought he was going to be closer to his opponent there, to McCauley, and he wasn't. I mean, look at the gap right now; it's quite clearly quite significant. The guy behind Van Buell is a lapped car, so they are not battling. Some other drivers coming in. I think it's I saw someone enter the pits, or maybe not.
Might have been Ronald Moons to complete his stop.
Yeah,
he was the last car to not make a stop in this one.
And so, Adam, we are just 3 minutes away from the end of the race, and as per usual, the battles have settled, but not entirely. And it's the time of the race where you really want to just focus on bring the car home. But of course, if you are in a battle, it becomes much more difficult to concentrate on just that.
It really is, and we haven't got too long to go in terms of laps either. We have got just under 3 minutes to go, but Danny McCauley, even though that pit stop was good. Oh, there's been a crash. It's Sebastian Heberer, and it is Peter Growls, I think. So around goes the 42 car. Heberer was involved in something earlier. I think Garcia's just got past McCauley in while that's taking place. Here we go. In fact, it might have been a Sim Orsol car. We'll wait and see. On the inside he goes. Oh, in lock-up as well. And the Sim Orsol car very nearly collides with the wall too. So that was... hard to say, but here we go. It's Javier Garcia. This is him getting past Danny McCauley for 6th position. I don't think McCauley really had much of a say in that, really. He should be able to keep Stein Van Buell at bay. I believe the gap between them is 3 seconds. In fact, it might not actually be that much. If we go back to live. Oh, in fact, it is. Yeah, 3.9 seconds. So McCauley should be safe in his 7th place for now. In fact, he might just have an outside chance of maybe getting that 6th place back. We'll have to wait and see. But that Sim Orsol car that collided, I think, was Lee Diemer. I think.
Let's go.
I think it was because Diemer would have had. We saw Diemer was also sideways after that contact. So.
Not this. Oh man.
225. Oh, it's Andrew Hopley actually in the CMR Esports car. They do have very similar liveries. So sorry to Lee Diemer for calling him out there. Up the inside he goes in the BMW. A little bit of a lock-up and not too much damage. We'll have to wait and see if he's pointing in a straight line or not. But Here is Ian Roots.
Yeah, but problem. He had a problem for him. I think he went around or wide there and lost some positions. Well, just one position he lost to Sebastian Eberer, but he did lose it. He went wide there. No need to fight with his teammate there. Where is our race leader? I think we are into the last lap of the race because we have 40 seconds left on the clock, and Ian van Genechten has half of the lap left to cover. So I think as Opley is out of the race, so he will drop down from your standings on the left side of your screen, and yeah, trying to bring the car home safe is Van Genechten and all the other guys with some nice battles. I think the Tige is also still battling there, but let's focus on our leader because once again he had a very clean race, getting away from the start, checking out, driving in a very clean and collected manner, and not easy to do with this quality of field, and another nice race victory for him.
Indeed it is. He's just got the NGK chicane to go. He's only been off the top step of the podium once this season. And make it 7 wins. 8 races now as he comes through the final corner. Checker flag is at the ready. Another dominating display. Pole position, fastest lap. And now the race win. Ian van Genechten wins round 8 in the Simracersworld GT Series here at the Nürburgring. It's going to be very close for second. It's going to be Gregory Vranckx, Bob Boland, and Matthias De Tige very nearly got there as they come across the line. It's Simracersworld second, CMR Esports third, and Simracersworld again in fourth. Ruben Van Buel should get fifth. Danny McCauley should win the silver category. He is coming across the line now. He's not going to trouble Javier Garcia, but a decent stop from him, and he was able to keep Stijn Van Buel at bay. Finish in 7th with 8th. Here is our bronze winner, or winner-elect. He's just got to get back to the finish line. I don't think he was lapped by... No, he wasn't lapped, actually. He was very almost lapped by Ian van Genechten. He's just got to do one more tour of the circuit. Hopefully he's got enough fuel in the car to get there. And I think even if he doesn't get there, he should be classed as the winner because Musselwhite and McConville have... Musselwhite, and Brabants have already crossed the line. So there's no way they can get near him because they are a lap behind him. Into the final few stages of the circuit he goes. Not too many bronze cars made it to the end of this race. Van Outven was out early on. Woodburn out also, so too Dries Moujdi. Luc Thies also only left. The cars remaining of Lenertz, Musselwhite, Braganza, Berger too. Forgetting the other bronze. Through the final corner he comes in. Jochen Lenertz is going to win the bronze category. Someone other than Bram van Outven. Not too many times that we've seen that during the season, and that is everybody across the line after an hour around the Nürburgring. So that's how that race finished after 33 laps. Now get the final results up on the screen. So that we'll have some interviews before we say goodnight. A big evening of a big weekend of motorsport ahead of us as well. WRC Mexico starts tonight. Very early, I think, stage 1 around the streets. And of course, MotoGP this weekend, IndyCar this weekend. Quite a lot of stuff to look forward to. NASCAR too, and then obviously next week the Formula 1 returns at Albert Park. Here's the finishing order then. Ian van Genechten wins. Gregory Vranckx finishing in 2nd. Bob Boland not too far behind in 3rd. Then Matthias De Tige 4th. Ruben Van Buel in 5th. Javier Garcia 6th. Daniel McCauley winning the silver class in 7th. Stijn Van Buel in 8th. Nick Sherman's 9th. And Peter Graus rounding out the top 10. Jeremy Hessel's compatriot finished in 11th place. Those two didn't really get separated too much from where they started on the grid. Then Sebastian Hebero in 12th, Ian Roots 13th, then Roy Verwerke 14th, then it's Lee Diemer and Ronald Moons. Then the top 2 bronze in Jochen Lenertz, the last car on the lead lap, and Stuart Musselwhite in 18th. John McConville in 19th place, 20th for Pedro Bragança, fellow Portuguese Sergio Sousa in 21st place, and then Teish Berger 1 lap down. Andrew Hopley 2 laps down towards the end. Not too sure what happened to him. Luc Thies 5 laps down. Steve Clace 11. Bentanes, Arturo Alvarez, 20 laps down. Dries Moujdi out early on along with Steven De Wolf. Lee Woodburn, Chris Moretta had a slowdown penalty that he just couldn't clear. Ended up getting black flagged as a result. Bram van Altven, one of the few cars involved in the mess at the exit of the arena section. Kobe Klaas being one of them, and Anton Dupin had computer issues. So those are the reasons why those guys retired. Now go to the interview room because we haven't got anybody there. Go. One thing I have forgotten to mention, Marco, is that the F1 Netflix documentary, I believe, gets released at midnight tonight. So
oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. We were talking about it with my teammates the other day, and absolutely is going to be. You know, usually Netflix rarely misses a beat on these things, so we're all very excited about that.
Yeah, my Thursday viewing for the last few weeks has been the Grand Tour, but now I've got that to look forward to in a few hours, and the new F1 documentary as well. Ian Roots has kindly stepped into the interview room, so I think we can get a quick word of him before we head off. Ian Roots finishing in 13th place today. Danny McCauley also joining him there too. So the driver's starting to filter through. We'll speak to Danny McCauley first, I think, because he finished higher up, and he's got a few stories to tell as well. So we'll drag him up, and here he is now in the interview room. Danny McCauley, he joins us again for another week, and an interesting race for you, really. Started off pretty well, got a few positions in the early going, and then they all started to try and get past you again as the race went on.
Yeah, that was one of those races that you just want to be over. I went the complete wrong way on the car setup, and it was like massive problems with understeer. So I tried to make the moves at the start, and I think it worked quite well. But when the race started to actually get going and balance of the car started to change, I just fell back and couldn't really do anything. And then that, accompanied with some headset issues, really didn't help. Hence why my driving was a little bit erratic halfway through.
Well, if you couldn't get the pace out there on the track, you managed to certainly use the pit stop to your advantage. Obviously, I think you managed to get 2 for the price of 1 there. You're obviously trying to keep Stein at bay, but then you're able to get past Garcia as well because of his bad pit stop. But ultimately, you weren't able to keep him at bay for the end.
I think I saved quite a lot more fuel than the rest of them by the look of it, as I went 2 extra laps than the other BMW guys. I'm not sure if they pitted early or genuinely just ran out of fuel that early. But yeah, the pit stop seemed quite short. Could have taken even less fuel, which was surprising. But yeah, it made me up 2 places, and at the end, I knew I had the silver lead, sorry, and it wasn't. I was close to the incident limit, so it wasn't worth risking a contact or a few more off tracks just for the sake of 1 position, when I would have lost the lead to the silver class if I'd got disqualified.
We haven't got too many more weeks left of this series. Obviously, the new BMW has arrived. Once this series is done, are you still going to be giving the Z4 drive about, or are you going to be getting behind the wheel of the new BMW?
I'm not too sure. It's obviously I'm committed to World GT as well, so I'm stuck in the Porsche for that for the meantime. But I'll just have to see what rolls around. I think these guys are sticking to GT3 next season, so if I return, judging by the balance of performance so far, it being the Mercedes, just seems to be a stronger all-round car. But the new M8 is definitely a car to be reckoned with in GTA now.
Finally, Road America next week. The BMW didn't look too out of place alongside the Mercedes here today. What's it going to be like around Road America?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. It should be quite good. There's some high speed, some low speed. Good balance. I think it'll be the most even track of the calendar so far. I managed to go quite well there in World GT, so hopefully it's the same in the DynamiXX Simracersworld series.
Great. Well, before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anybody?
Just thanks to you guys as always for broadcasting. Huge thanks to all the CQR guys for the work behind the scenes, and just a shout out to Chasington Media for helping me with all my media needs recently.
Great. Well, well done on the race today, given all the issues that you had. It looked like it was a bit of an exciting one out there for you, but all the best, and hopefully we'll speak to you again next week at Road America.
Yep, catch you guys later.
Danny McCauley there. Looks like Bob Boland's just jumped into the interview room, so I believe we can drag him up. And Marco, I'll hand the reins over to you, and you can speak to our man who finished in third place today.
Yes, hello, welcome, Bob. Welcome to the interview room.
Hi guys, good evening.
So it was a nice fight. Basically, all race long you were battling it out with Gregory Ranks, and then in just the final few laps of the race, also Matthias de Tige joined the fight. How was the race from your point of view, and how was this fight? Because this fight, especially with Gregory, lasted for basically the entire race from flag to flag.
Yeah, it was a fight I had with Steen van Buell at Watkins Glen. Gregory was just a but it's quite a hard track to overtake. And as the race, both our tyres were going off a little bit. Mine definitely were. After about 40 minutes, I was really struggling, and it was only a matter of time before Gregory got past me. He fully deserved second place. He definitely.
How was today driving on this track? Because it is a track that is known for not being an easy place to pass. Do you think that it helped you to defend your position for as long as you did, even though in the end you were forced to give away second place? I mean, because with the use of the fast chicane, it seemed like you could only go for a move in the first corner, even though we saw some drivers go for a move before the chicane. But of course, you needed to be, have a good run coming out of the Schumacher S and the subsequent left and right hander, because going side by side through the fast chicane is never a good idea. But I mean, there were not very many passing opportunities today for the drivers.
No, it's definitely a difficult track to, especially when the lads are fairly evenly matched. It's not a track, none at all, to be honest. If I'd have finished 8th today, I'd have been more than happy to get on the podium. Absolutely delighted. Like I said, I don't know where Leaf went. You'll have to tell me where he went, because I don't know where he went. He just went off into the distance. Gregory had the edge on me, and Mr. Tatige at the end was coming on to me like, I don't know what, another lap he'd have got me as well.
And one final question. Next week, of course, it's Road America. Personally, it's one of my favorite tracks in the world. What about you? I mean, it's a track that really, you read Road America and you think about sports car racing and GT racing.
It's definitely a track I like. I'm not saying I'm quick on it, but I really enjoy driving the track. When I'm having a little practice on my own, it's often the track I go to. Or whether I've got the pace to live with the top boys in the league here. Well, I definitely haven't got the pace for the top 2 or 3, but I'll just have to see how I go. I definitely enjoy Road America. It's really good.
Thanks, man. Once again, congratulations for the podium. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, thanks very much to you guys at Apex Racing TV. Thanks to all the drivers. It's a fantastic league. Loads of respect given to each other. Ian does a fantastic job of keeping us all in check. And obviously a big shout out to my teammates at CMR. Without them pushing me, then I wouldn't be able to go as quick as I am doing. So thanks very much. Really enjoying it.
Thanks, man. That was Bob Boland. 3rd place in the end. And I think, Adam, it's finally time to bring up Ian Roots. He has been waiting there since the end of the race, basically.
Good evening, guys.
You're all right. Yeah, it helps if I switch my mic on. Yeah, finally got you up in the interview. Thanks for your patience, Ian. And yeah,
no, it's fine.
13th place for you. Tell us about the race. A solid finish in the Sim Racers World Car.
Yeah, it's not my favourite track, I must admit. There's no grip out there whatsoever, even at cool temperatures. I don't know how Eve manages to do 51s and 52s, because he's just a machine. He really is a machine. Congratulations to him, Greg and Bod, for the podium as well. Yeah, qualified 13th, finished 13th. I think I could have had a better race if I'd have had a better start. I got stuck behind Mr. Moons for about 5 laps. He was obviously struggling for grip even early on, and I just couldn't get by him without, creating any trouble. And lost 5 seconds to Peter in front of me, and pretty much kept that gap for the entire race. I tried to pit early. It didn't work because I got stuck behind Jeremy after the pit stop, and yeah, he reacted to my early stop, and that was my race done. Really, it was just a case of just getting it to the finish without too many off tracks, because that's evil, that track.
Really is. At Sebring a couple of weeks ago, when the clouds came over, the lap times really tumbled down. But towards the end of the race, we see quite a few cars were struggling with the tyre wear out there, especially with the arena section, with it just being a constant left-hand turn. Were the tyres starting to become a problem towards the end of the race?
Without a doubt. I checked mine at the end before I quit out, and I think it was down to 52% on the front left. So we all know if you get round about that mark, there isn't a lot of grip to be had on the front, and the amount of steering input needed for that section was phenomenal, to be honest. It was lock to lock pretty much. But I think everybody was struggling the same, and some people managed more than, better than others. But 13th, I'll take that. That's not as good as I'd hoped for, but better than expected, I think, really, to be honest.
Finally, then, Road America next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fast track, very, very fast track. I've not been there for a long, long time. We haven't raced it, I don't think, in any of the seasons we've done previously. So it's been a while since I've been there. So we've got to do some work to be on the pace there. I think it's going to be a Mercedes track again. There's some long straights. So yeah, I think let's see. Let's see. It's going to be warm again. So yeah, let's hope it can be a little bit better. But yeah, we're getting towards the back end of the season now, and every point counts. And the aim was always for me to finish top 10. I'm not quite where I wanted to be. Had a couple of DNFs early in the season, round 1 and round 2, I think. So yeah, solid points today. So I'll take that onwards and upwards.
Great. Well, before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anybody?
Yeah, I do actually, because I've just looked at the result of the race. Am I right in saying, because obviously I'm not watching the stream, am I right in saying that Jochen won bronze class today?
You are right, yes.
Oh my God! I just want to shout out to Jochen, because obviously he's the man behind the sponsorship. He owns and runs Dynamics, and yeah, he does a lot of work for us and promotes us greatly. And for him to win bronze class is an outstanding achievement. From where he's come 2 seasons ago, he's beginning to pick up pace, and he was on my tail for a while after the pit stop, and yeah, he's getting pretty quick. So yeah, just congratulations to Jochen. And Stuart, I think, came second in bronze. That's a better result for him. Obviously my teammate, better result for him. He was hoping for second overall in the championship, and he might well have got that back today. So yeah, a good result for those two. But yeah, just thanks to you guys. Do a great job week in, week out, and obviously the sponsors all the time. The sponsors do a great job as well. And let's see you all at Road America.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, well done on the 13th place today. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to speak to you again after Road America next week.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
Ian Roots there. And yeah, well done to Jochen Lennertz there. Dynamics driver getting in a decent result. And after the pace that Bram van Alphen has shown all season. Pretty good job there. Right, we are just about out of time then on Apex Racing TV. Thanks to Marco for being on the cameras and in the commentary box today, filling in for certain Andrew Woodhouse, who is living it up down at the Capitol, I believe. No, not the Hunger Games, London. But yeah, hopefully have him back in the commentary box for next week, and make sure you can join us next week too when we head to Road America. It's almost like Nürburgring, but the walls are a lot closer. And if you do make a mistake, the costs are just as high. So make sure you can join us for that after 8 p.m. GMT next week. For now, from all of us here at the Nürburgring, from me and from Marco Barbanera, goodbye.